So what is the net benefit and how is it determined and used? This is a main concept that we're going to be using throughout this course. And we use the term net benefit because it's a more generic term, because we could be dealing with nonprofits or other objectives. So for the term net benefit, we can think of net profit, right? So we think of revenues minus cost equals profit, as opposed to the benefit minus the cost equals a net benefit. But the language is very similar, but the book uses net benefit because that's a more economically accurate term, because the concept is generalizable to not just money and profit. So we have a control variable, in this case it's quantity, and we have the notation of B parens Q close parens. And what this means is there's a function, there's a mathematical function for benefit as a function of quantity. And that's what it means. So benefit as a function of quantity, and cost is cost as a function of quantity. We'll see why this is important later on as we see more and more variables being added to the expressions. We want to state what is the main function that we're looking at. Here we're saying it's a function of quantity. So the managerial objective is to maximize net benefit, again, like net profit. So the net benefit of quantity is based on the benefit of quantity minus the cost of quantity, right? So again, this is very simple, intuitive to all of us, that profit equals revenue minus cost is the same thing. We're just changing the word slightly to benefit, or net benefit equals the benefits minus the cost. So when we use marginal analysis, how can we use it to maximize net benefit? So when we look at marginal analysis, it means what is the cost or benefit at the margin, at that exact point, knowing that that may change from point to point to point. So marginal benefit, and the notation is MB of Q, is that the change of net benefits at that moment of benefits with a given change in quantity. For example, in more simple English language, for a small change in quantity, how much benefit would we get? Right? That is the marginal benefit. It's not the total benefit, it's the marginal benefit from that one last item. That's what marginal means. Same thing holds for cost. We have marginal cost, which is the change in cost if it changes by a small amount. Similarly, for a small increase in quantity, how much more will it cost? So that's marginal benefit, marginal cost. So marginal net benefit is equal to what is the marginal benefit from that last quantity added minus what's the marginal cost of that last item added, right? So again, just think very, very small quantities, not totals, averages. We're at the margin. That's a very important concept in economics because we want precision in our decision making. So let's do an example of how this might be applied. So let's again use profit. So profit equals all the revenue earned minus all the cost incurred. So when we want to maximize it, we say we want to have the point where the marginal benefit is exactly equal to marginal cost. In other words, if we have less than that quantity, then we're making extra money. We could add one more. If we're past that quantity, then now it's crossed over. Then the cost of production will exceed the benefit of that production. So this is a very precise point. We call it optimizing because we want to get the optimal amount of quantity that generates the most profit, right? So that's the idea of marginal, quite different from average or total. How would you figure out what's these marginal benefits and marginal costs? First, we make the mathematical observation and connection that the marginal value is something we can compute. So it's continuously changing, and we're looking for the slope. So the slope of the line is by definition, what is that change of a little bit up or down? That's what slope really means. And so we're going to say we can then substitute the idea of using the slope for determining the marginal benefit or the marginal cost. Same thing holds for marginal net benefit, right? So the marginal cost, marginal benefit, and marginal net benefit are all determined by getting the slope of those curves given the change in quantity.